This is Bunting with your Visual Functional Mathematics at Level 1, Section 3, Data Handling. Today's lesson is Lesson 3 on Group Data, Mean and Range. The following questions will be answered in this lesson. What is group data? What is mean and how do we find it? What is average and how do we find it? What is range? How is range calculated? And how do we process and display grouped data? You will need to be able to use the following words fluently and within context, and you need the meaning of each of them clearly. These are data, group data, mean, and range. Grouping data. You might need to group data into classes to make it more manageable. Whatever data you have, make sure none of the classes overlap and that they cover all the possible values. Tally charts can be used to collect group data. Example 1. Amal is recording the ages in whole years of people who visit a museum. Design a table that could be used to collect the data. Let's see how this is worked out. The solution, you have a tally chart, which is a good choice. The data can be sensibly grouped into 5 classes. There should be no overlap in any of the classes, and that's key. Grouping means to group them into categories, but with no overlaps. In the real world, the data you have to group will be quite huge, and you cannot handle them in one simple table or spreadsheet, so you group them. For example, children in a classroom or in a school. Now, here's an example of your tally table. Age in a whole year, you keep 0 to 19, 20 to 39, 40 to 59, 60 to 79, and then 80 or above. Group data involves a frequency table which can be used to organize group data. Example 2. Mona records the scores obtained by 30 people playing bowling. And these are the scores from 129, 150, right up to number 30, which is 190. Create a table to organize these group data. So obviously, because there are 30, you have to group them into categories to reduce the amount of groups you have to work with. And this is an example. They are grouped into 6 categories by scores. The scores range from 0 to 49, and then 50 to 99 to avoid overlap, and then 100 to 149, 150 to 199, 200 to 249, 250 to 300. Read the information carefully and you'll get it. The first 5 scores of 23, 29, 47, 24 and 28 all lie in this class of 0 and 49, and the tally will tell you the number of scores, and then the frequency table will tell you the scores. Now, practice question set 1. Sally operates a private car park. She charges £1 per hour to park. Below is a list of the money raised for every day in the past month. Draw a grouped frequency table to organize this information. And you have your answer here clearly. Go through it. Check that you have a total of 30 frequencies. Then you know that you're right. Okay? If you get any error, check it again and do it as many times as you have to until you get it right. Yeah, that's good practice. Displaying group data. Group data can be displayed using bar charts. There should be one bar to represent each class. I've explained that already. And here's the example. So you have a group of people aged between 0 to 19, 20 to 29, right up to 40, 49, and then 50 and over. And your frequency ranges from 7, 13, 19, 5, and 3, totaling 37. Check it. On the right is the bar chart. So when you're doing your bar chart, you have to plan it carefully. Okay? The data has been grouped by age, so the bar chart is drawn with one bar for each age class. Each bar is labeled with the name of the class that it represents. Your x-axis is age across, and your y-axis is the number of athletes. And then at the top, you have a sensible title to your bar chart. Here is another way that data can be grouped. Mariam runs a bed and breakfast. The table shows the number of guests who stayed during each month of the year. There could be quite a lot of them, so how do you group them? I think the best way is to do it by month. Or even at that, you have 12 months. Can you make it even more manageable? Let's see. So you have January to December, and so what she decided to do was to group them by season, which reduces it to just 4 categories. That is autumn, winter, spring, and summer, which I think is good. Let's see. And there you are. And then for each month in the season, which is 3 months each, you add up the number of guests. So in spring, you have a total of 22, summer 36, autumn 12, winter 14. And that is the chart represented. Read the instructions about how you plan your chart, and don't forget to get your notebook with squared gridline pages. Practice test 2. Ash competes in an open water 800-meter swim. The table below shows the finish times of the competitors to the nearest whole minute. Draw a bar chart to show these results. And there is it. Again, look at the grouping. 17 minutes or less, then 18 minutes to 19 minutes, 20 minutes to 21 minutes, 22 minutes to 23 minutes, and then 24 minutes and over. And then the frequency is listed. They must have done a tally chart before they got the frequency right. And that is your answer. Check it, make sure you have all the features that the answer shows in your own original work, and if you got it wrong, please correct it. We look at mean and range. Mean is a type of data. An average is a number that summarizes a collection of data. The average that you need to know how to work out is called the mean. To do this, add up all the numbers in the set data and divide the total by how many numbers there are. Example. The table shows the times taken by a group of women to run 100 meters. What is the mean time taken? And what you do is get all the women's time, add them together and divide by the number of women. In this case, there are 5 of them. Once you've done that, then if you have to produce a chart to show them, then you do a frequency table as you see on the right, and then you present it. Example 2. Dave needs a new goal scorer for his football team. He decided to move either Raphael, Jeremy or Paul up from the B team. Dave decides to choose whoever scored the most goals on average in the last 5 matches, and he'll use that to decide who to choose. He made a frequency table of all the games and the goals of the competitors, that is Raphael, Jeremy and Paul, over match 1, match 2, up to match 5, and listed the scores they did for each match. And at the bottom, you will see the results. Raphael scored 6 over 5 matches, although he missed one. Jeremy scored 8, although he missed 2 matches. And then Paul scored 3. He missed 1 match and he didn't score in another one. So, who should be chosen as a goal scorer? Obviously, it's Jeremy, who, even though he only scored in 2 matches, he scored 8 compared to Raphael's 6. So Dave will be chosen. Practice question set 3. Question 2. Ellie asked a friend how far they have to travel to get to work. These are the results. What do? You have to add all the distance traveled in miles and you divide by the number of friends. And the question is, what is the mean distance traveled to work? Question 3. The table shows the price of a meal at 6 different restaurants. Probably she's trying to find the cheapest or the most expensive or the average. Calculate the mean. And that is your answer. Question 1, 22 tons. Question 2, 9.5 tons. Question 3, 24 tons. The range is the difference between the biggest value and the smallest value. And to work out the range, you write down all the numbers in order from smallest to largest, and then you subtract the smallest from the largest. Example 1. You have people waiting in a queue at a music festival, and they're all asked their age, probably to be allowed in or to be given a free ticket. The ages ranges from 18, 34, 22, 20, 26, and 24. You need to work out the age range. First, you have to write them in order. Remember, in our numbers, when we were dealing with numbers, we learn about ordering. So you order them and then find the smallest and the largest, you subtract to get your range, which is 16 years. If you know the range and one of either of the smallest or largest values is added, you can work out the other one of these values. Example, babies are weighed when they are born. In April, the weights of the babies born at a hospital had a range of 1.9 kilograms. The lightest baby weighed 2.2 kilograms. What is the weight of the heaviest baby? The range is the difference between the heaviest and the lightest weight. So, add the weight to the lightest baby's weight. The heaviest baby weighed 2.2 kilograms plus 1.9 kilogram, which is 4.1 kilogram. You can check your answer. Range is equal to heaviest minus lightest, which is equal to 4.1 minus 2.2, which is equal to 1.9 kilo. And these are your practice questions, which I will not read for you this time. And then look at, on question 1, look at A, look at B, answer the questions. The same goes for question 2. And these are your answers. Check your answers against them. If you get it right, don't forget to pat yourself on the back. If you didn't, find out where you went wrong and make a correction. It's okay to get things wrong. You will learn from it. And this is your lesson summary. Do not forget to check what you've learned, make notes of it, and then you compare with mine. And these are my 8 points. You now know what group data is. You also know when grouping data, you should be careful not to overlap data classes. You know how to draw a group frequency table from a list of data. You know how to display group data using frequency tables and bar charts. You know that mean is a form of average. You know how to work out the mean of a given set of data. You know that range is the difference between the smallest and the largest in a set of data. and you know how to calculate the range of a set of data. And that is your lesson for this week. Don't forget, read through, check your answers to the questions you've done, correct them, and prepare yourselves for next week. I'll see you. Take care of yourself.